Blah. Y'all already know what it is. Your boy Yaakov, what it do? The outlet to reality, the holdest podcast in Vegas and Chicago. What up? This is the place where you want to hide from your drama or maybe hide from your baby mama. Aha, just kidding. Tu quieres cambiar tu vida, if you want to change your life, then subscribe. Ching. And by the way, guys, I just published my first book called Shabbat in Chicago. It's out on Amazon. It's about an audacious single mom who opens her heart and home to 5 adopted kids. And today, guys, we have a very, very special guest. Y'all not going to believe this. This is one of my closest friends. So I had to bring her on the show. The one and only. And not only that, she is an inspiring professional dancer. Man, this girl has so much talent. Give it up for the one and only Bianey. What's up? What?
It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you, girl. Thank you, girl. Much love. Much love. So look, I'm really happy you're here. You know, it was so hard to get you, and now I finally got you on the show. So I do want to share like a story for my audience and my fans to, you know, get to know us a little bit more and you. So basically, I went to a social dance event. It was at Broadway, one of the biggest spots in Vegas. And I go there, you know, I like to dance and, you know, break it down with the ding, 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 ding. And so Bianey was there. My boy Tony was there. And I didn't know Bianey. I'm going to be honest. I didn't know her. And I saw her. She was breaking down her moves, pulled her, pop, pop. When she heard, dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. I was like, damn, she know it. Dun, 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 dun. She was breaking it down. And I remember I met her there. Really cool people. Tony was like, hey, man, this is Bianey. This is when they first started to like really like, I knew my boy Tony. He was feeling Bianey. He was just like, you know, this was the first stage. You know, they had their first date. So they were, you know, building, progressing, you know what I'm saying? And it was just so cute. And I was like, man, I think this is, and I told my boy Tony one time we were driving, right? I'm like, hey, homie. And this is like a couple, I'm going a little further in the story, but like we were driving. I think he picked me up and I told Tony, brother, and we were just having a deep conversation about Bianey. And he goes, bro, I think I really like her, bro. I said, bro, look, if she's the one, she's the one, you know? You guys stay with her. And then next you know, it's been a minute now. How long we talking?
I want to say 2 years and like 7 months or so. Tony is the one that knows the dates. But yes, 2 years and like 7 months.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a long time. That's you
He's
guys beat
guy.
my record. Yeah. Oh man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And girl, what about you? Any story you could think of like when we first met? Do you remember any other memory?
I mean, it's rare when you find someone in Vegas that knows how to dance cumbia. So being able to dance with you that day, I was like, yes, like finally someone that knows how to dance cumbia, because we had fun with it. That's the thing. Like I absolutely love dancing, but the main thing for me is having fun, especially social dancing. If I'm too much in my head, then I'm not gonna enjoy it. And when it comes to cumbia, I could just let go and be free. And you let go just as much as I did, so just have fun. That, and I also remember you went to one of my performances and you complimented me, and it was really great. Your energy is just awesome. So how could I forget someone like you?
I was sweet. Thank you. Oh man, that means a lot. You know, I love cumbia. You know, especially the.
Cumbia just hits different.
Oh, it is funny because when I first met you, reason I thought you were like from El Salvador or somewhere in the Caribbean, and I'm like Tony.
I get everywhere.
Everywhere. I like Tony.
Everywhere.
Right. I was like Tony. This whole time I didn't know she was Mexican. You know what I'm saying? I had no idea. And I was like, man, I'm even shocked. And I literally, I think I just found out like maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Knowing you for a minute now, I didn't know that. I was like, damn, I got a lot to catch up. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot to catch up.
Yeah, I think you mentioned you thought I was from Ecuador.
Yeah, Ecuador. Yeah, I think I said that. Yeah. So it was amazing, but you're really cool people as well. And please, I want the fans to get to know you, about your background. if you were born and raised in Vegas, and like, tell us like your life that we don't know about, spill the beans.
Of course. So I was born in Mexico. I was brought here when I was 8. Well, actually 7, turned 8 here within a month. And I came here with the idea of like following the American dream. I remember the first attempt, I did get stopped by immigration. Not just me, but my mom did. And it was not easy sitting down as a 7-year-old in an office where they're telling you can't get through, that you're not allowed to come into the United States. I remember sitting there and really like wanting to speak up, because I'm not the type of person to just sit down. But as a 7-year-old, I was like, well, why? Like, we're not going to do anything harmful. We just want to come and work and do the best that we can to move forward. And this was a 7-year-old. So wanting to speak up at that moment and knowing that I couldn't truly sucked. But my mom didn't give up. She knew that she wanted to bring us here to give us better opportunities, myself and my brother. And so she was persistent, got us the opportunity to move, to finally come here to the United States. It was difficult because she had to separate us, my brother and I. She left me with a family she didn't really truly know. And although it was scary, she put the trust in God that I would be okay. And she took the Rio Grande to get here to the United States with my older brother. So they went through the difficult part. I, on the other hand, came with 3 older girls. I think one was like over 18, the other one was like 12, 13, and then I was 7. And all I did was like present a passport and said I don't even remember the name, but some other girl. And they're like, so what are you coming to the United States for? We're going to McDonald's. So the idea was that I was coming to McDonald's, and I then went to McDonald's, spent about 3 days, and then I finally saw my mom again. So it was a scary situation, especially because you don't know the people, and I'm 7 years old. But I knew in my heart that I was going to see her again, and that it was for the better of it all, just to have these opportunities. A few years ago, back in 2012, Obama actually provided us with the DACA, which is the Deferred Act for any immigrants that were underage or that were brought here when they were little. And so thankfully with that, I've had the opportunity to go to UNLV, graduate from UNLV, and work. So I am a dreamer, and that's what you call a dreamer. Is someone that came here as a young adult, or as a kid, and has a dream in the United States. And we will do everything because we don't get the same opportunities. Therefore, we're going to work hard for them. Right. So that's how I identify myself. I identify myself as a dreamer.
Ooh, it's deep. I love it. I gotta be honest. You're my third. From all my podcasts I've done, you're my third guest that's a DACA student, a dreamer, and I love it because you guys are like fighters. I try to tell people, and a lot of people that don't ever experience immigration or how to get citizenship, they think it's easy, that you just take a citizenship test and that's it, and don't work like that. It's a whole process. Lawyer, it's a lot of paperwork, documents, proof. It's just so much stuff. And I gotta be honest with you, I have so much respect for y'all. And I mentioned this last time on my other podcast with one of my brothers, that there's a famous book that I highly recommend everybody to read. So Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. We read that in high school, but he actually wrote another book, Tortillas Flat. And that book, not a lot of people read about, but that book talks about, it was like one of the first earliest books that was written by a white man, that he basically said in the book, in like the main premise, the idea, the philosophy of the book and the message was that he personally believed that Mexicans were heroes to America. It was the coolest concept, and I love it because I'm like, yo, I'm half Mexican, gotta represent my people too. And it was
That's
just
right.
You know what I'm saying? He talks about their hard worker, very like close with the family. Like we don't get a lot of credit And I think it's beautiful that he said that. And yeah, your story is amazing. Like, I'm gonna be honest, girl, for you, like telling me this part of the story, I did not know about you. Like that right there, girl. I mean, I think not only you a dreamer, you a warrior. I gotta say that too, you know what I'm saying? Because you went through a lot, and it's so dope. You got to see your mom. And can I ask you a personal question? Did
Of
are
course.
you you and your mom like very, very close now? Ever since whatever.
Oh, yes. I mean, me and my mom have a completely like interesting relationship, just like most like mothers and daughters do. We tend to butt heads a lot, but I mean, the love is just there. It's ultimate. It's not unconditional as it should be. So yes, me and my mom have. I've grown to appreciate the person that she is, and she is a very different person than I am. But at the same time, she's helped me move forward, and at the same time, accept myself for who I am, which is something that she is. She's not afraid and not embarrassed to be who she wants to be.
That's so dope. That's beautiful. I love that. Now I do want to shift a little bit, right? There's a movie
Right?
that this is crazy that we
Oh,
hanged
right.
out, right? You remember you, me, Tony, and we're just chilling, eating tacos, and this was probably like on a weekday, and you brought it up or I brought it up. No, you actually did. You said
I
David.
brought it up. Yeah.
Right. You're like, have you heard about The Secret? I'm like, wait, what? You know The Secret? Now, for those who don't know, The Secret, it first came out as a book and then a movie, a DVD, and it was by Rhonda Bryan, something like that. I forgot how to say her last name. And she came up with this is so cool, has like famous philosophers and teachers like Bob Proctor, rest in peace, my brother, and a lot of great people. And I was shocked that Bianey knows this film, because I'm gonna be honest, this movie I do not share with anybody, because the movie has helped me in so many ways, financially, spiritually, emotionally, anything you could think of. It's wild. So Bianey, I want to hear your perspective first about what you got from The Secret and how it has actually, like, the things you learned it happened to your life.
Of course. So one thing, the reason I brought it up first is because I see the way you live your life. And I was like, there is no way he doesn't know about The Secret. Like, I can see it in you. So to expand on what The Secret is, and I should probably mention how it came to me, is that in middle school, or actually in high school, Mr. Garnica is his name, and I'm not going to forget his name. Unfortunately, I just haven't reached out to him, nor have I been able to find him on social media. But in high school, towards the last days of school, he said, "Hey, so we have a secret. I have this secret that I want to share with you guys, but you have to earn it." So I remember I was like, I need to know what the secret is. Like, what is the secret? So he made it so like it was a contest, I believe, of some like test or something, and whoever got the highest score was going to be the one that got the secret. So I went all in. I was like, I need to know what the secret is. He was a boxer, or he is a boxer, or was. I'm not sure if he's still a boxer, but he at the end, when I got the selected, he gave me a small keychain that was a boxing glove, and inside the boxing glove he had a list of things that I need to do or like pursue as an adult. And I'm talking like I was a sophomore in high school, so it had ways to like save money, what I should be doing with the decision makings. It was a great list, but the most important thing inside that little boxing glove was that there was a USB drive. Inside that USB drive was the movie The Secret.
Oh,
So I went home, I put it on my computer, and I watched The Secret. And I can now say that in the last 10, 11 years that I've known The Secret, I've used it in my life throughout. Now, putting a lot of like span on this secret, and the secret is the law of attraction. And I would love to share this because I feel like everyone should be able to know the power of the law of attraction. Um, the law of the attraction is knowing what you want, truly believing that you can have what you want, receiving what you wanted, and then being grateful for it. That's the way that I see it. Throughout my life, I do know that I've used it. I would say since then, I would always work on poster boards where I have an idea of what I want. Say, I want a house. I want to graduate from UNLV. I want to find my career. I want to get to a certain place in my career in a certain amount of years. Find the love of my life or the partner that I truly want in my life. And I believe that for every one of those things that I put in my view span and said, this is what I want, thankfully, because of The Secret, and that I truly believe that I not only deserved it, but I was capable of getting it, I was able to attract it and have it now. So I would say one example that actually came up recently was when I got my house. So I remember one of the things that I had on my poster board that year was that I wanted a house and I wanted to learn how to ride a bike. So I learned how to ride a bike. I took, and by bike I mean motorcycle. I should probably mention. I wanted to learn how to ride a motorcycle. So I decided to go take the classes, got my motorcycle license. I even had a helmet, and I went to Harley Davidson. I was ready to buy that bike. And I'm sitting on the motorcycle and I'm like, wow, like I really see myself on this motorcycle. Like I'm ready to take this home. I see the price and I'm like, hold up. Like what else was on my poster board and how much does this mean to me? So I'm like, I did say I wanted to learn how to ride a motorcycle, but I never said that I wanted to buy one. And I did say that I wanted to buy a house. So what are my priorities and what do I truly want? So from that moment, I turned around and I called my realtor, and she picked up and I was like, I'm ready to buy a house. And it only took a few months. I mean, it's a new build, so it did take a whole year to have the house. But at that moment, I realized, you know what am I scared of? What is stopping me now? Like, this is the moment. I had the money to buy a bike. Why not put a down payment for a house? So
that's beautiful.
It's one of those things that if you know what you want, and you have to be specific, like you have to truly know what you want in order to believe that you can have it and then get it. But one of the steps a lot of people forget is that you also have to be grateful. Because if you forget to be grateful, one of the examples that the movie comes up with is like when you have a boyfriend and your boyfriend gives you flowers. If you show gratitude, then they're going to notice that, hey, she liked the flowers. I'm going to get her more flowers, or I'm going to get her more gifts. Then they're going to do it more because you're showing gratitude. But if you don't show gratitude or appreciation, then they're not going to continue doing it. And that's kind of how The Secret works. You have to be grateful for what you receive as well as what you're asking for.
Oh, that was good. I love it. Look, I gotta be honest. So deep. I really appreciate you sharing that. I'll be honest, fans out there, Bianey, she's a very smart girl because we had a really interesting conversation the moment she bought the house. I call her up and she doesn't like texting. I'm gonna be honest, she's not a texter. She only likes when someone calls. So I called. We had like a really deep conversation, and I was like, "Yo, Bianey, I think you should rent out that house and have people move in." And you're like, we were just talking. You're like, man, that's not a bad idea. I said, no, for real. You young, you could do it. And I said, you're gonna make some cash flow. Like money's gonna go in your pocket. And I was so happy we had that conversation, right? Next, you know, Bianey tells me, yo, I rented out the house. Oh, and I'm so proud of her because that shows she's ready to be the next level. Like now she's like you could say an entrepreneur. Like she's now making her own decisions, managing. Is just a wonderful thing. And I'm so proud of you. And I want to say something too. So for me, right, The Secret. Dun, 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 dun. So The Secret brought into this, right? Same high school. I was a freshman. My dad showed it to me. Actually, my father, this is one of the teachings I learned from him. He shared it with me, The Secret. He's like, look, I need you to read the book. I said, Dad, I don't want to read this book. It's boring. We went to Barnes and Noble. I said, man, damn, I don't want to read no book. I want to watch a movie. He goes, no, this secret is gonna show you everything you need to know about the life. I'm like, man, I ain't think about life. And so it was so funny. We argued. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna skip the book. I'm gonna watch the movie. So I watched the movie, then I read the book. I did it backwards. I said, yeah, then I finished the book. And I, I watched it, and I'm gonna be honest. One of the most powerful things I learned, and I shared this with you too, and Tony, that it talks about, it does say gratitude. It says that a quote that I remember was, "Your thoughts become things." So whatever you believe and you manifest it, it's gonna happen. It's gonna take time. It's not when you want it, it's when the universe allows it, or God, right? Allows it. And it's so
Mhm.
true. Even when you pray, right? I'm a very spiritual person. When I pray, right, I get real personal, and it's my, in my free time I could be watching TV, but I want to pray. So I'll pray when I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm happy, but I let it out. And when I pray, I pray for my friends, my family. I always want to bless them too, because if I just pray about me getting better, whatever, I'm just being selfish. So I like to pray
Mhm.
for those I love too. And it's really true. The secret talks about this too. When you pray, right, and you believe it, and it's so true, because I always tell people this. Some people are like, man, it's so hard to like follow God, or so hard to be a good person, and I don't get no results. And I tell them, look, I'm gonna be real to my brother or my sister or whoever. I say this ain't no commercial. You know how the commercial, remember when you go outside the window, it used to be, it's my money and I want it now. You remember that? That is an old
Right,
school
right, right. Yeah.
commercial. I tell them that's not how the universe works. It takes time. It takes patience. It's gonna happen. But people are just afraid to take that extra step,
Right.
you feel me? And when I used to walk, right? I used to walk. Actually, let me tell you how my day was in high school. I actually remember like it was a traditional practice. So when I woke up, I used to go running. And before I went running, I actually wrote down on a piece of paper how I wanted my day to be. And I wrote it out. This is how I want my day. And at that time, your boy, I was just so happy to be in high school. I used to be like, I want every girl in this school to like me, something like that. I was trying to be a gangster, okay? And I was like, yeah. And so and so I went running, right? I went running, and the moment I finished my run, I did like about 6 miles. Ran like 4 in the morning, and after my run, my feet is a little tired, and I start walking, and I take my time. Like, I appreciate the moment to be able to walk. And I will say to myself, I'm grateful I could walk, that I did my run. I love seeing all the grass around me, and that the sun is coming out, and all the plants are getting their photosynthesis, right? They're getting
Right.
fed by the sun. And I used to say that, and I'm like, thank you that I can breathe, I can have oxygen. I started saying that, and my whole mindset was different. And so it is powerful. I 100% believe that the secret works. I'm going to tell you a story. This is another story, right? So they do mention this in The Secret, where there was this guy who was homosexual, and he got bullied in his job. I don't know if you remember that part. Right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And everybody would make fun of him, and he felt like he wasn't like in a safe place anymore. He wasn't happy at work. He complained, and he was going through a lot. So he messages his professor, remember? He's like, Professor, happened to me. This happened, and the professor was hearing it. And he said, "Look, everything you're writing down is everything that you're. I understand you're not. in a happy space, but you're putting too much energy towards this negative thing that's going on in your workplace.
Mhm.
How about start changing your phrases, your words, and put more passion to it? So he's like, you know what, you're right. So he started typing, right? I'm gonna have a good day. My comedy's gonna get better because he did stand up. And
Kind
next
of, yeah.
you remember that, right? He goes back to school, back to work, and all the people that used to work there, they don't work there no more. People started to say hi to him. Even when he did his stand up, people will laugh at his jokes. So he felt appreciative, and he realized that by him changing his mindset, right, instead of thinking negative, right, but start thinking, what am I grateful around me, and start thinking positive, you change your
Mhm.
attitude. And it's so true. It's 100%. I believe it
Yes.
100%. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm gonna tell you another story. This is a real story, true story, true story. One more. So when I I used to work at this place, and I had a bad experience with my old boss. And I mentioned this in the podcast. We got into it so many times. And I would pray about it. I said, God, I know I'm asking for patience, but that's a lot of patience I gotta have. Because me and him, we were getting into it. Like we were gonna fight.
Mhm.
That's how bad it got. Like every day. And I wasn't doing nothing bad. I was just doing what I do best. I'm just good at my job. But it's hard when someone has an ego so high, and you know, when they don't like you, it's even harder. So I felt like getting tough is getting out of control, right? And I'll pray about it. Like, God, help me out. I even talked to my mentor, like, Rabbi, I need help. I don't know what to do. I might lose my job. Like, I don't know. There's so many things going in my head. And my mentor told me, he goes, sometimes in life, you're gonna see by you focusing on yourself, on God, on doing what you gotta do, see God's gonna have your back. And he shared me with a story. He said that he had someone who gave him a hard time. It's kind of similar, but a different scenario. And the guy
Mhm.
stopped working there. He left. So crazy thing, my boss got fired. And like he left. And which is crazy. Everything was changing. So I had to share that. But that's how you know the secret is real. Now, girl, I know the time is almost. We got like 10 minutes left, but
I
I
know we don't have
I
enough time for this. I feel like
I,
it's so much more.
I got sad. You know what I'm saying? But I do want you to share, if you can, about this performance you're about to do on Saturday, called the Grinch that stole
The Grinch is Stole
salsa.
Salsa.
Right? Please tell me more. Tell me.
I'm very excited. It's gonna be one of my first performances with Joy Dance. I will be dancing with Tony and also on my own. It's If you haven't seen the movie, highly recommend watching the movie. It's a great story about how basically in this case he will be stealing salsa, but he then will be falling in love with salsa, and we will be showing him how salsa brings joy to us. So in this scenario we will be all performing. We'll have little kids dancing ballet, and we will be dancing salsa. So it's going to be December 23rd, and we will have two performances. One would be at 1 p.m. and the other one at 6 p.m. And we are currently selling tickets. So hopefully you can share my account, and or it's at Bianey 619, and you can reach out to me and I'll get you guys some tickets. Should be fairly exciting though. It's a good show. It will be at the Summerlin Library.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And please
Yes.
tell me, how did you get this opportunity? I want to know, how did you get it?
Oh man. So dancing was something that was in my life when I was little in Mexico. My dad's a professional dancer in Mexico and he performs. So when I was little, I've always been like, okay, I want to perform someday. Someday I want to perform. I did spend 6 years of my life not doing anything that I truly enjoyed. I was stuck in a situation that I was not happy with. thanks to God and knowing that I did no longer want to be there, I was able to get myself out of that situation and started to pursue the things that I truly do enjoy, which dancing was one. That's how I met Tony too. But once I started dancing, I gave myself the time to really improve and be comfortable with myself to be able to perform. So my first time performing was with Rhythms, and I absolutely love that studio. But then I met Paula and Jimmy at Jordan's, and I just see them. I look up to them, and I hopefully at some point we could get as good as them, if not better, and maybe even at some point teach cumbia, which would be great. But performing now, it's a dream. So I'm just excited to be able to do that in front of a crowd, and I will have lots of friends like David that will be there, and I will give it my all. So yeah,
I
I'm
love it.
excited.
Woo, woo, woo. I can't wait. I can't wait to see it.
I did want to go back to the trash, the secret. One of the things that I do go by is faith, and for me, although I'm not the most religious and I am Catholic, for me it's faith. One of the things that I kind of wanted to read, and I just saw a friend, which is funny because I brought this up to her. I saw a friend that I haven't seen in 8 years, and we kind of just started talking again, and she shared this with me. So it says, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen." So I think that's very true. Is that we hope for something, and even though we don't see it, because we know that it's possible and it's there and that we want it, we don't only just need to want it, we need to have faith that it will be brought to us and that it will come to us. So that's why I also, one of my strongest words, if not my favorite word, is faith, because you truly have to believe, and for that you need faith.
Wow. Oof. I love it. Snap your fingers. There you still. Hey, I love it. I love it. That was deep. That was deep. Oh man, girl. Look, well, I'm about to wrap it up. Guys, this is the Outlet to Reality, the holdest podcast in Vegas and Chicago every Tuesday. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Ching. And don't forget to check out my book called Shabbat in Chicago. It's out on Amazon. And y'all know where to find me. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, the Outlet to Reality. My Snapchat is Take One Pass It, and my TikTok is at Yaakov28. And Bianey, where can my fans find you again?
Instagram at Bianey619. The only social media that I have, but you'll see me there.
Yeah.